I just missed y'all. I ain't saying nothing. I just did it because I knew my mic was off. What's the deal, man? Welcome to the freshest flavor in H-Town sports. Often imitated, never duplicated. I'm talking about Tuesdays, we call it the drip. But every other day of the week, we call it the sauce. So welcome to Sauce Sports. And on Tuesdays, like I say, we do the drip in partnership with Fox 26. So shout out to Fox 26, everybody over there at the station, the hometown heroes, if you will. And y'all know how it goes. You know, sauce is the original. It's the term we use, the original. You know, often imitated, often duplicated. But they just can't quite get the recipe. Like, I got this belief that if you go to the Frenchies that was in Third Ward, like that Frenchies doesn't taste like any of the other Frenchies, because it's like I always felt like there was like an ingredient that they just didn't share with the other Frenchies for some reason, and it was just a different taste. That's what you get with the sauce. You know, they can get real close, but they can't quite emulate it fully. But
I could do you one better. It's like when somebody try to make banana pudding and use them off-brand Nella wafers.
Oh.
They don't use the real Nella wafer. They want to use the off-brand. That's exactly what it is. Yes. It don't come out right. It comes out horrible.
It looked the same. It looks
similar. It looks exactly the same.
You know what I'm saying? Is it? And then when you get to really getting it, you're like, oh, it's not what I thought it was. This is something completely different. I've been bamboozled. Shout out to my guy, Dan. I've been flim-flammed. But you already know, man, we got gentleman getting down with us, man. If you don't know him by now, if you really ain't been rocking with the sauce. I mean, that's all I can say about that. I mean, what else is there to say? But who we got joining, getting down with the round tonight, man?
Man, what's up, Sauce Nation? It's your boy Spitz. What's up? Shout out to everybody there, Sauce Nation. Shout out to everybody there in Houston. Shout out to Fox 26. Like I said, the partnership, the drip, you know, every Tuesday, 7 o'clock on the Fox 26 app. Hope y'all on the app. Hope y'all on the website. Hope y'all watching. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate everybody out there. You already know what it is. We about to bring you that drip, man.
Already. And for those who've been asking, I know, y'all know what it is. QB1. A lot of folks been asking about the QB1.
Please take that shirt off.
No.
Please take the shirt. We don't want to see that.
Matter of fact, I'm going to do the opposite of that. For everybody who said they wanted the QB1 shirt, if you're on the tube, the instructions are in the description if you want to get your QB1 shirt. So
nobody want that shirt.
Everybody wants
that shirt.
They know the future. Dog, 10 for the win. The best 10 that has ever played for the Houston Texans, man.
We about to get canceled. We cancel culture. We about to get. Why did you just say that? Did you really just say that? The best person to win 10 in this season.
I'm just saying.
Got to be more careful.
Oh man,
got to be more careful.
I'm being a little outrageous, but yes. Man, listen, we got joining us in the chat on the tube, man. If you're there, man, definitely shout out to all the fresh ingredients. If you're not a fresh ingredient, you're like, well, how do I become a fresh ingredient? You hit that subscribe button, man. You hit that like button. Or you hit the dislike button. If you don't like what we're talking about, I mean, everybody's free to their opinions. I ain't for you, but I'll remember that. You'll have to see me one day. But shout out to Abdul Corey Jackson, Darren Davis, Alana, one half of the greatest moderating couple in all the world, and Voodoo, the other half. He's just a part of the couple, But Alana does all the work. Lugo Ransom Babe, Roderick 335, peace. Cordy Lewis, J Boogie 10, and if I miss you, I ain't diss you, man. We ain't even gonna talk about lefties, man. I was looking for something to eat this weekend, and I actually stumbled across a great place. If you are in the Katy area, I'll tell you what it is. But we just like looking for something different to eat because we be eating all over the place. And man, I seen the lefties because there's one, like I say, in the Katy area, and it's just like, that's not his. So let's check. The food just looks terrible. Like they look like they got that movie theater cheese. You know what I'm saying? They look like some old offbeat chili. Like it does not look tasty at all. And then some of the food looked undercooked. Like I'm not saying it's him. It's just not something I'm into.
First of all, who idea was it? Who brought idea was it? The name of food place? Lefties. That doesn't sound appetizing. Lefties. Like that doesn't sound attractive at all. Hey, let's hit up lefties tonight. Like who's sitting around saying, hey, let's hit up lefties?
Yeah, it's too close to leftovers. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like somebody trying to be cute with some leftovers. Oh, you guys hungry? Well, I didn't cook today. I got some lefties. So, like leftovers? What do you mean? Like that's my nickname for leftovers. Like no, get out of here. Because everybody trying to make everything cute these days. The young generation, they be trying to make guns sound cute, all this stuff sound cute. Maybe they be start trying to make leftovers sound like it's cool, man. But it is what it is. Papa Gino's, I hadn't been to them. I know Papa Gyros, but I don't know about that. But anyway, this ain't no food channel. We talking sports. Sports and food do go hand in hand, man. But what we were talking food. But what makes food a little bit better? Sauce. Put a little sauce on it. Put a little sauce on that thing. And speaking of sauce, man,
some sauce in that thing.
you know what it is. We're not just talking Sauce Sports. We're talking about Sauce Gardner. Okay. Sauce Gardner and a couple other names. I don't think as interesting. Came along and took some visits with the Texans today. I know some of you are going to say, well, what about Kayvon Thibodeau? And I know as Wise in the gang calls him Von Tito's. Like I said, we'll see how long before they start running with that one. But he visited, and I know a lot of people are out on him. And just to touch on that real quick. What he said, JD 2.0?
Man, yeah, don't nobody want corn chips around here. We don't want no corn chips around here. Don't want corn chips.
Yeah, when he said that to me, because like I said around here, we talk about a lot of stuff. There's a thing we call stat sexuals, right? And people are like, well, what is that? That sounds like some new freaky stuff. No, that's the people who overhype the measurables and the numbers. And I mean, you might be into math in a bit. I don't know what y'all doing in y'all bedroom these days. Y'all into math and doing that. That's actually better than some of the stuff going on. Anyway, it's none of my business. But so stat sexuals, these are people who overvalue like the numbers, the measurable. Well, he ran a 4.3 and he did this. He jumped to 100 inches. Like we talked about this last time. Like when are you gonna run a 40 on the field? Like unless you trying to run somebody down, unless you didn't just you're a running back that just might have you just were gifted an amazing hole and you just broke through. I mean, you just really got out to it's very rare that you're going to see somebody just go for a straight 40. You know what I mean? In a game, it's kind of rare, but it happens from time to time on a collective situation, whatever. But like I said, these are the people who overvalue that. I'm not a person who overvalues numbers, man. And I think anybody who's played on a field at any level, even from pee-wee to, pro, can tell you that attitude matters, mentality matters. And to me, Kayvon doesn't have that. Like, to me, seems like he's kind of not aware. Like, the fact that he said, I'm Clowney 2.0. And as a big Clowney fan, when Clowney was here, I tried to milk all the Clowney credits I could. Hey, yeah, that's my cousin. I'm Uncle Honcho. Yeah, you go ask about Uncle Honcho. He know me. But, trying to milk that and I was a Clowney fan. To me, that's not the ideal comparison you want to make. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'll play like Clowney. Okay, well, 2.0. Okay, well, that's okay, whatever. But Sauce. Let's talk about Sauce. And I've been on the Sauce train for a while, just early on, just because of the name, right? Like just because of the namesake and all that. But he said something the other day that made me solidify this belief. And pardon me, I know I got a little crusty crumb on my. I just seen that. Look, don't talk bad about me. I know. Look, I was eating good right before the stream. Wifey just made dinner. I was trying to wolf it down. So players mess up, crumbs get places. But anyway, so my thing is, Sauce said something, and this solidified it for me because I know we're going to talk about it because a lot of people are telling me, well, number 3 pick is just too high for him. He said, I'm the best player in the draft. And when he said that, the hairs on my arm stood up. I was like, this is what we need in a Texans uniform. Because this is something that we have been lacking. If really, there's maybe 1 or 2 guys, and even though I made a joke about it earlier, probably 10 would have been one of them. That would honestly have that conversation with this little piece of crust. You could honestly have that conversation with. And what did he do when he made those statements? When you make statements like that, you have to come out and back those things up. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now, Spitz, you brought something up, and you've played the position about a corner speaking like that, and what that says to you. Could you enlighten the folks kind of on your perspective of when you heard what he said or what he tweeted, and then kind of how you took it? Like I say, being familiar with the position.
Because, man, like, confidence is probably the biggest thing a DB can have. Like, if a DB's confidence is shot, if they don't have confidence in themselves, that's when they get beat a lot. That's what I think happened to Kareem Jackson his rookie year. I think he got beat early on, and he started reading the press clippings a little bit, and that would hurt him. And it took him a while to recover from it. And people don't want to give Kareem, because Kareem actually did bounce back, and towards the end of his career, especially his last season in Houston, Kareem had a damn good season. But that hurts DBs a lot. That's why you see a lot of DBs who are good in the beginning and then fall off somewhere because they start reading those clippings a little bit. Then when they have a bad game here and there, like when their confidence is shot, it's hard for their confidence to come back. And DB is the hardest position to play. Quarterback, they got a lot of things they're doing, so I'm excluding the quarterback because we all know what quarterbacks got to deal with. But any other position, because DBs are always playing at a disadvantage. One, they're literally playing backwards the whole time. They're literally backpedaling throughout the whole time. They don't know what route the receiver's running. They don't even know if it's a path, if it's a run, if it's a play fake. They don't know what's going on. So they always got to keep themselves on their toes, got to keep themselves on the swivel. So they got to know what they're doing, what their partner's doing, and also they got to figure out and make a split decision, because a DB can have perfect coverage all game long and be a hair off a pass, a hair fraction. We say it's a game of inches. Just a hair could be a hair off, and it could be from a batted pass to a 6-yard bomb for a touchdown. Now we're talking about the receiver. Now we're talking about the corner got burned all game. So the way the DBs play, if they play with confidence, especially somebody like Sauce, who uses his hands a lot, he's an aggressive corner, physical, big corner. With that confidence, I think the sky's the limit for him, and I don't think he's the best player in the draft, because I think it's Kyle Hamilton, but he's not far off. I say he's the best. I said this a couple weeks ago. He's the best corner in this draft, and when he say statements like that, I know earlier, I think at the combine, he said he wants to be the best corner in the NFL as a rookie. When he said that, I said I like the confidence that he has. Well, I see on tape, back that up with that confidence, you got you a home run. I think you got you a home run. Then for him to say something like that, I'm the best player in the draft, I absolutely would take him at 3. Even though I like Kyle Hamilton over him, I would take Kyle over Sauce. I have no problem with taking Sauce at 3. And anybody who says otherwise, y'all really not paying attention. This is not this whole, we don't take corners, we don't take safeties. These guys are different. Especially, I think Kyle Hamilton is different. Is a different type of animal. But if you watch the tape of these guys, you see what these guys bring to the table. You have no problem taking them at 3. Now, if you can get them later on, and maybe trade back, get some extra draft capital, that's cool. But I wouldn't even take no risk on that. Only way I would take a risk is if both of them there at 3, and you think you could trade back and you could at least get one of them. I wouldn't take a risk if one, like I say, if either Sauce or Kyle gets taken at 1 or 2, because I've seen Sauce being taken at 2. I've also seen in my draft with Kyle Hamilton getting taken at 1. So I wouldn't play if one of them gets taken. If one of them gets taken, I'm taking the other one at 3. just point blank, in my personal opinion.
I agree. And that's kind of where I'm at. And that's kind of the segue and kind of the next thing I want to talk about. Like you just mentioned, that risk. Because I think Sauce's stock has kind of shot up. I think he was already up there, but I think just there's been a few little things that have kind of boosted him up a little bit. And then, like I said, or like you just mentioned, film, right? I know people talk about, I see them in the chat where people talk about, oh, Kyle Hamilton is slow. What does film say? You know what I mean? There's a lot of guys, and this is why I say, the stat sectionals are weird to me, because you can say, like I say, from wherever you've played, anybody in here, you knew there was a guy who was kind of a loaf at practice. He didn't really want to go through the drills and all that. But when the lights came on, you know what I'm saying, you saw a different animal. You know what I'm saying? But then you also saw guys that you've practiced and played with who were weight room warriors. You know what I mean? They were practice all-stars. You know what I mean? Like all team, first team all practice. But when the lights come on, they don't perform the same way. That pressure, like you said, that confidence, that those things change, and so some of the guys get shook. And that's why
we had one guy. We had a guy in the building, Brandon Whedon. If you ask anybody if there was a Hall of Fame for practice, Brandon Whedon would be a Hall of Famer. Yeah. Like you guys, anybody that play with me, Cleveland people, they say if Brandon Whedon Brandon Whedon throws the prettiest ball you ever see. If there was a Hall of Fame in practice, he would be the first ballot Hall of Famer. Did it translate on the actual football field? No. I heard Jamarcus Russell. Jamarcus Russell has the greatest pro day, period. All this hype about people pro days and the combine. Like Jamarcus Russell, who is considered the NFL's best bust, the biggest bust in NFL history, Jamarcus Russell has the greatest pro day of all time. Everybody was foaming at the mouth at how Jamarcus Russell looked at his pro day. Bust. That doesn't. What does the tape say? Like stop. We don't have to be too smart here. Like what does it say? Just watch football. Use your eyes. Yeah. Like what's called like Caserio on Friday. Use your eyes. Let's do some work. Watch film, and you'll see these guys are the truth. Yeah. I don't care what their forwards say.
Yeah, and absolutely. And a guy like Sauce who doesn't give up touchdowns, like that's something that has to mean something. Like you say, oh, it was just college. You say, oh, we just played, in the division he played in.
He did against Bama.
Exactly.
All the receivers Bama got, and they got a Heisman Trophy win as a quarterback. Like
exactly. And so like this means something. Like again, like do you understand how hard that is to do in any level? Whether you talk about high school, whether you talk about like that is something that you have to acknowledge and you have to take very serious. I don't care about any of the combine stats. Like again, like I say, that means nothing to me. What does he do when the lights come on? And to me, that is the most important thing. But talking about risk, talking about that number 3 spot, and we've been kind of on this for several weeks. I think that number 3 spot is going to become very crucial, and I think a lot of things can happen because I feel like the stock on Malik Willis for some reason is going up, and I think there's going to be a lot of teams with interest. And every time we get closer to the draft, you know what happens from the Bortles of the world, the Manziels of the world, and that hype just starts to come up for quarterbacks that
Zach Wilson.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so it's like the hype comes out, the hype train starts rolling, and the energy, the excitement comes. I feel like Malik is going to be a hot commodity. I think somebody's going to be interested in making a move for that number 3 pick. Now, we know, you mentioned right before stream, there was a deal done that could be pivotal, and we'll come back to that. But I think that Malik Willis is an interesting piece in all of this because I also just don't count the Texans out of the conversation of entertaining Malik Willis. Something about me, I cannot. Now, I was saying I didn't necessarily think he was their kind of guy. And you were saying that you felt different, like I said, prior to stream. And so what are your thoughts on that? Why do you feel more so? Why do you disagree there? Why do you feel like he's more of the Texans guy as opposed to me saying that he's not?
I've been saying this since the summer. Malik Willis is definitely the Texans guy, and more so Jack Easterby guy. I mean, if you go back and watch any of it, go watch not only his Instagram, but go watch I forget what school he went to. Liberty, yeah, because it's a small school. Go watch. Go and think off of their Instagram. He plays every game with sleeves. Sleeves either say God, Son of God, or it says faith in God, or God number one. Like always something religious.
Yeah.
Before every game, he's praying. Before every game, he's for the first thing he says, "Give it to God." He goes through a whole little speech. This right here is cemented. He had a highlight film of his highlights on his Instagram. He has the music was gospel music. I've never seen anybody do a highlight film with gospel music ever.
I mean, he said,
it wasn't even Stomp. It wasn't even Kurt Franklin. It wasn't even Kurt Franklin. It wasn't even Kurt Franklin. He had gospel music as the music for his highlight. I'm like, this. Jack must be somewhere shedding tears. That's my quarterback. Like Jack would be somewhere crying. Talking, that's his quarterback. That's his guy. Then he's at the combine. He was giving money to a homeless man. Yeah. Come on, man. He's the perfect champion for the Houston Texans. And the thing is, I know a lot of people out there, we got Davis Mills. You know what, though? The Texans do not operate that Davis Mills is the franchise quarterback. The fans themselves act like Davis Mills is more of a franchise quarterback than the Texans do. The Texans have not given you any type of indication that they operating as Davis Mills is their franchise guy at all. They have not done anything to give you that notion. Do I think they're going to draft a quarterback? I absolutely not. I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback. But would it surprise me? No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest.
Okay. And I think if you apply it in that direction, we know the heavily religious influence. I mean, the guys you see on the teams somewhere, if not on their bio of their social medias or any of that, have a lot of religious stuff. And I want folks thinking, oh, you guys are anti-God. That's not the case. We're just pointing out some common denominators in these situations that you see. But, right, Malik, all this good stuff about him. I don't know. We just had a guy we just shipped off who pulled the wool over our eyes. You know what I'm saying? He was acting all high and mighty, holier than thou. You know, I don't know. See, now that has put a dampening on my spirit. Like I want to believe Malik Willis would be the truth, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think Malik is more. What's the word I'm looking for? He's more he's more forthcoming with his religion and his Christianity more so than Deshaun. Like Deshaun, I mean, he would say stuff, but it wasn't like the way Malik does it. Like I don't want to say over the top, but Malik does it a lot. It's Tebow-esque. It's not quite Tim Tebow, but it's similar. It's similar.
I can see that. Yeah, so I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Like I say, either way, because I know Deshaun, his whole thing was when he went and got baptized. You know, what was it? I forgot where he went. Jordan, Israel.
He went to Israel. Yeah, I think it was like after his second year.
Mm-hmm. Or he went and got baptized and did all that. So, you know, very interesting, very interesting. But again, you know, we ain't worried about him. He's no longer our problem. That is for somebody else to deal with. And the thing you told me earlier about the situation on social media, that's hilarious. But I want to look at that again, like I say, still looking at that number 3 pick. And you mentioned it. What do you think the likelihood is, though? Because you use the word risk, and risk is a great word. If you're at number 3, and both of those guys are there, and you get an offer, say somebody is interested in, you know, Malik if he's not off the board at that point, or you know, whomever else, I'm sure there'll be another high commodity. What do you think the likelihood is that the Texans are going to trade back? Do you think that they value or that they value talent? How do you think they're going to approach it? Do you think it's going to kind of be a situation where, you know, Nick coming from the Patriots where, you know, no player is bigger than the team no matter how talented you are unless your name is TB12. So like how do you expect them to approach that situation if the opportunities are there?
Oh, they value the process, and if the opportunity is there, they're going to trade back. They don't value, like you say, outside of Thomas, Patrick, Edward Brady Jr. They don't. Outside of him, and really not even because Bill Belichick was ready to ship him out the door. Twice actually, because remember he wanted to ship him out the door and make Garoppolo the starter.
Yeah.
So even he wore out his welcome. How many Super Bowls he got? So no, they definitely value the process. They definitely value quantity over quality. They would much rather get picks. I think the sweet spot would probably be 6 with Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be the sweet spot, because then that way you still in the mix, because especially if Thibodeau and somebody else is on the board, maybe the Jets or the Giants don't go with one of those guys, and you have a better chance of one of them falling to you. Now, if you talk about 8 to the Falcons or 9 to the Seahawks, then that's a little bit dicey, because now you letting the Giants pick twice, you letting other teams pick, they might not both fall to you. So I mean, but then you might then Derek Stingley, who has his pro day tomorrow, who should fall to you at that spot. But then it's kind of like you'll be settling for Derek Stingley. I know Wise will be loving that, because Wise has been talking about Derek Stingley Jr. for the past 2 years now. So it just depends on what you see, and also what you can get. Now, Carolina doesn't have any second round picks, because they gave him up for Sam Darnold. So it would definitely be, you'll be definitely gaining more first round capital next year. And that, to me, would tell me is they're looking more so into next year's draft, making sure they have enough draft capital that if they have to move up to get a QB, they have the ammunition, because that will give them 3 first round picks next year. Theirs, Cleveland's, and then Carolina's. If they jump back down to 6, jump down to 8, or jump down to 9, that will give them future first for the next couple of years. I definitely think that would be something. If they do that, that tells you a little bit more what they're leaning toward in the following couple of years, more so than what you're doing in this draft here.
And I'm still on the mindset that they're not expecting to compete this year. It's going to be a few years to get this process right, and there's going to be a lot of pieces that people love right now that might not actually be a part of the plan when it all comes down to it. But
right,
do you think that
I think so too?
Do you think that they could have? There's a chance that the Texans have too many picks, like just acquiring all these assets. Like, do you think there's a point where it's too much?
Like Cleveland Browns a couple years ago, just all these picks, and what do you do with them? Mm-hmm. Who else? It was another team. Was it Washington? Was it the Rams? Yeah, I think it was the Rams and the RG3 trade. Like all those pillars, that might be the worst trade, because like 3 years later, RG3 and all the people that the Rams drafted in that trade were all out of the NFL. Like nobody really won that trade. Like RG3 was out of the NFL, and then the guys that the Rams drafted with the RG3 picks were all out of the NFL as well. Like it just didn't work. It's just a bad trade all around. Well, bad drafting. The trade itself wasn't bad, but what happened after it. So it depends on. I don't care how many picks you have. You have to make the right decision, because eventually you have to put a name and a face to these picks. You can't just go play football games and say I got first round picks, second round picks. Eventually, you have to make a decision with these picks. You have to put players in with these picks, and you have to pick somebody. And I don't care how many first round picks you have. You can have 10 first round picks, but if you draft 10 busts, it was all for naught.
Exactly.
So you have to make them count. Now, granted, the more first round picks you have, the more picks you have, the greater your chances that you will eventually hit. But you have to have over a 50% rate for this to work. Like for this rebuild to actually work in the hit, you have to hit over 50%. You can't hit 50%. You can't hit less than 50%. You need to hit 60, 70, 80%. And then at least one, if not two of those guys have to hit big. And when I mean hit big, be a transitional player, be a superstar type of player. You can't just have just a whole bunch of just the guys on the team, just role players. This doesn't work like that. This is not the 05 Pistons. You can't just have a whole bunch of role players on the team. You have to have some type of superstar talent on some level. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. So you have to hit at least, you have to hit over 50% on all these picks that you get in, that you've acquired, that you didn't stockpile, that you didn't harvest it and hoard it like a damn hoarder. All you have to get hit over 50%, and at least 1 to 2, if not 3, have to be superstar type of players. That's the only way you're going to win something with this rebuild.
I agree. And again, that's why I say, I really like, the mentality of the young man, because I think he's a guy that not only for himself, but, motivates the team that's around him. And again, like I said, I think we're going to need some of those dogs on the field. But real quick note.
But could that be infectious? Could that spill out on the rest of the players on the team? That type of mentality.
That's what I would be hoping for. Now I think it matters because maybe they look at rookies a certain way, but if you got talent that supersedes guys who've been there a couple of years, you are that dude, then they got to put the respect on your name. And again, like I say, it would be good to see. But I got a major question with that Sauce, because he wears a particular number, and there's a guy who adopted that number this year. And he made a statement. Somebody had put something out there a couple of days ago, maybe last week or something. He made a statement about coming off that number 1, not being too keen on it. How do you feel about that? Should the more talented player have the say so on a number, or is it a first come first serve thing when it comes to these jerseys? Or do you got to pay like you weigh?
Absolutely. Okay, it depends. Now, if you are a decent player, but somebody come on that's more talented, then if you're a decent player, like, think of an example. Say Lonnie. If Lonnie, we know what Lonnie is, but say Lonnie was a decent corner. Like he wasn't the best corner in the league, but he was a decent corner. Like nobody has a problem with Lonnie. Then hey, go ahead, let Lonnie keep his number. You move off. You maybe get 21 or something like that, or get 2 or 3 or something like that. But when you are verging a scrub, because Lonnie is tearing that line. He's right there. Like he makes some plays and he don't make some plays. Like he's right there. He's on the verge. He's on the fence to be a scrub, but not a scrub. He's right there. Oh, absolutely. Sauce walks in. If Sauce want 1, Sauce should get 1, and you shouldn't go ahead and give it up, bro. Yeah. Just go ahead and give it up. Because be honest, we don't even know if Lonnie gonna be here next year. Yeah. This ain't set in stone and Lonnie gonna be here. We don't know what Lonnie, especially if they start making some of the plans and some of the moves that I think this team could make via this draft alone, with the draft capital that they do have, with all these different corners coming in. Who's to say Lonnie's on this team when the season start any damn way?
That's a very interesting thing, because I actually wanted to get to that, because I feel like the Texans are going to go really corner, but secondary early, right? And, Lonnie is kind of teetered back and forth, between corner and safety, and kind of trying to find a home. And to kind of make a comparison with the number thing, it almost gives me, and I'm not saying we ain't got Sauce yet and, all this stuff, if it does happen, but it almost gives me Daniel House, Jalen Green vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, you know what it is, but ultimately things kind of work out the way they should work out. And I'm pretty sure we'll see Green in his proper jersey next year. But yeah, like I said, they brought in who's the kid was I think he's from Florida, whoever, with Elam, and then
Elam.
Yeah, and then you got Sauce coming in. See what happens. I don't know if they're going to be I would assume they would be in attendance at Stingley's pro day. We know Kyle Hamilton's in the conversation. What you got?
They spoke to Sauce twice, because at Cincinnati Pro Day last week or 2 weeks ago, Lovie Smith took Sauce one-on-one by himself, brought him to the side by himself, and talked to him one-on-one. Like Sauce, Sauce is definitely Lovie's type of guy. I don't know if he's Nick Caserio's type of guy, if he's Jack, if he's Cat, but I know for a fact that Lovie and Sauce is Lovie's type of guy, because he has a lot of Spencer T has a lot of Peanut Tillman vibes. Like he has a strong comparison to Peanut Tillman, who played in the Chicago Bears defense for a long time under Lovie Smith, especially when Lovie Smith was at the height of his powers when he was the head coach out there and going to NFC Championship games and also making it to a Super Bowl with Chicago. So I definitely think that he's Lovie's guy. He's Lovie's type of guy. And I think if Lovie has any say so in the matter, I think they would take him, and they could take him at 3. I wouldn't be surprised. But
I want to feel like Lovie got some say so. I don't know, just the way you kind of seen him out and about and kind of it gives me more vibes that Lovie has say so as compared to Cully having say so. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, it feels like Lovie has some kind of input on the narrative or input on the conversation. You know what I mean?
I mean, the coaching staff reflects that by itself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, the Texans have the most minority coaches in everybody in the NFL. Like I think it's a coaching staff of 18 guys. 12 of them are black. Like something to that ratio. I could be off here or there on the number, but I mean, all those guys they were hiring either guys who had Lovey hired guys that either have a close relationship with him, or on the offensive side had a close relationship with Pep. When Pep was the coach for the XFL with the defenders, so this at the very least the coaching staff has Lovey fingerprints all over it. Let's see if these draft acquisitions have the same thing.
And that's crazy because somebody commented on the I think on the last video saying that we're still rooting for a racist organization. I say, well, I look at it, if that's the case, they're doing a very bad job at it. You know what I mean? They're doing a very bad job. And even if you want to go back prior to, when the inmates were running the prison and all that other stuff, like, you got to look at how they gave a guy like Rick Smith a shot. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if Rick Smith gets the same go in other things, and the fact that he was so close with the family and all these other things, and I know people say, "Oh, he's one of these kind of guys." And we can get into that. We can get into semantics. We can get into all that other stuff, and then it turns into a damn conversation. But, like the fact is, like that, there have been plenty of black employees of the Texans in decent positions. Now, there might have been a little gap when Rick wasn't there for a little bit, but as far as head coaches, as far as giving guys opportunity, that has been there. So I still don't see the narrative that people are trying to push about the racism from the Texans.
Y'all remember Frank Bush? Y'all remember Frank Bush?
Let's talk about that.
Come on, man. They gave Frank Bush a shot,
bro.
That was the worst defense I ever seen. They gave
something we don't talk about. Oh, I'm finna go way off script, right? I'm finna go way off script. Right, and because I saw something, I didn't watch it. I just saw the clips. It's sports, sports entertainment, if you will. Did you see Stone Cold at WrestleMania this weekend?
I seen the highlights. I didn't watch WrestleMania, but I seen he gave Pat McAfee a stunner. Like that was funny.
Yeah. Pat sold it pretty good. Pat sold the stunner pretty good. But, man, when he put the stunner on, or the attempted stunner on Vince, and look, I get it. Vince old as dirt. Stone Cold ain't wrestling in like 20 years.
Have you seen Vince, like how old Vince look? I'm like, whoa.
Bro.
Like, man, Vince look old, man.
Yeah, it's telling you, it's been a long time since Vince was older back, when wrestling was cool to us. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a long time since then. So it's just crazy to see all that. And that stunner, it's just lost a little bit of stun. But, hey, all good things eventually come to that. I just thought that was funny because what they said, Vince McMahon made a business decision on that first one because he kind of slipped up out of it and kind of bounced back. And just the way that whole thing looked, it was crazy, man. If you haven't seen that, that's a must-watch from the weekend. I thought that was just pure comedy to me, man. Another thing, though, I want to talk about some guys that are currently on the team and what they got going on. So, we'll start with Cooks because you talked about guys. You talked about with Lonnie. There's no guarantee that he might not be here. With the trade, with draft, lots of trades, a lot of things can happen during that time. And if these guys are out hoarding assets, and I'm not sure what he's due. I think it might be 15 million or something like that coming up. What is the real value of Brandin Cooks? Because I've said it personally. I'm not like a super Cooks fan, but he puts up the numbers. I mean, he's been consistent in his numbers, even with the various quarterbacks that he's played with. But is he an asset? Because a lot of people brought up the Chargers game. I believe it was the Chargers game. I know my memory's terrible, and I don't think he played that Chargers game. And a lot of people consider that one of Mills' better performances. Right now, I think you take that with a grain of salt because the Chargers had a lot of guys out on that defense. I believe Derwin James was out. I want to say they had a linebacker out, a couple other guys. So, I take that with a grain of salt.
Bosa was out.
Bosa was out, yeah.
And we all know that Burkhead was hyped up on them holiday tamales. Yes, he had them holiday tamales. It was day after Christmas. He had them Christmas tamales. He was hyped up on them. Man, Russ Burkhead ain't never ran that good. No. Russ ain't never ran that good.
Whatever he ate, he need to eat before every game. Because that was like, is Rex? Is this a ringer? Who's wearing Rex's jersey? What's going on right now? And then people got mad because we gave Rex his props. Like, this is one of his best rushers. As old as he is, and to have a performance like that and giving him credit, people y'all hate no meals.
He had a career day. He had a $150 and damn near had 3 touchdowns. He had 2, almost 3. It should have been a 3rd touchdown, but he got stopped at the goal line.
Don't want to give that man credit down for his performances. You say Lonnie low key want to Texas draft outside his position. Here's the thing, man. And again, I like Lonnie when Lonnie came in. He's a Twitterer. You know what I'm saying? But for a guy
Lonnie disappointed me.
Yeah, for a guy who's on Twitter that much and talking that much, I'd like to see that stuff pan out on the field. You know what I'm saying? Because I liked him because I felt like he had some dog, and he'll hit, and he'll do. But again, like I say, it's those kind of we talk about how difficult corner is. That one mistake can, it can eviscerate you, and 2, 3, 4, 5 mistakes in a game can,
right.
And then when you make that one great play and you over celebrate, it's just a lot of little things that came with that. But getting back to the sorry, go ahead.
One thing about Lonnie. Lonnie too big, too strong to be getting bullied the way he do. He let receivers bully him at the top of their routes. And for as big as Lonnie is, Lonnie is like 6'2", like 215, 220. Lonnie is too damn big to be getting bullied like that. Lonnie should be a physical. Lonnie should be a physical corner. We should be looking at Lonnie. I ain't saying Richard Sherman, but like of that ilk, that type of play style where he's a physical, big, long corner. He shouldn't be getting bullied like that. Yeah, he shouldn't. We should be able to put Lonnie on A.J. Brown and be like, handle your business. Yeah. That's how we should. But we can't do that. He's unreliable because he plays too soft. For him to be that damn big, he plays too damn soft. That's why he's a disappointment. I want to like Lonnie. I really do. I want to like Lonnie, but I can't. Yeah. I really can't. He's just disappointing.
I agree. All right. Looking at Cooks, man, and what he got going on, and like I said, the value to him. I've seen people say trade him, 2nd rounder, 3rd rounder, but is he worth more than a 2nd or a 3rd rounder to the Texans, or is he worth more than a 2nd or 3rd rounder out on the open market? What are your thoughts on Cooks and kind of his future?
He's definitely worth more than a 3rd rounder. I wouldn't trade him for no 3rd rounder. A 2nd rounder. I mean, you got him for a 2nd, so it'll kind of be like even. I'll be trying to squeeze the 1st out of it, but I think Brandin Cooks is what I know Brandin Cooks is a Jack Easterby guy. I mean, Jack used to talk about how when they was in New England, Brandon would come to the office and say, hey, I just want to pray for you. Like so we know that they have a relationship. If I'm not mistaken, he retweets everything that Brandin Cooks tweets out. Like that's the only player that Jack is guaranteed to retweet. he retweets everything that Brandin Cooks puts out. So him and Brandin Cooks are close. I think if they get the right value, I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Caserio makes a move, because I mean that's a whole Patriot MO. Like, use a guy up to what they can use him as, and once they're expendable and they're able to get trade value, go ahead. We'll trade you. Go ahead. If not, cut you, because we can get somebody else younger and cheaper to do it. Yeah. We can go get one of these younger receivers out here in the draft right now. I mean, because outside of as of right now, you have nobody who you can throw out to sell jerseys right now. Now, who knows if they draft Sauce, if they draft Derek Stingley Jr., if they draft Hamilton, if they draft Hutchinson, if they draft who knows, maybe Von Tito's would sell jerseys. I don't know. Maybe because he's a high draft pick, he probably would. But as of right now, you don't have anybody realistically that you could sell jerseys right now. There's nobody on this roster you could really sell jerseys more so than Brandin Cooks. Like, Brandin Cooks is the one name that the Texans have. So that's really the value that he really has, because he on the field, he's a decent deep threat. But Davis Mills is not a good deep ball thrower. I don't care what those numbers say. That people want to throw out the stats. Look at the percentages. Look at how often he threw deep. It's a difference. If you it's a real big disparity when you look at how often he threw deep compared to everybody else. Yeah, his completion percentage throwing deep is higher than everybody else's, but he's not throwing at the same clip as everybody else. So of course everybody else's numbers are gonna go down. If I shoot more threes than you, of course my three average is gonna be higher. Is gonna be lower than yours because you shot less threes. It's just facts. People don't actually understand math because that's the narrative that they want to push. But that's a conversation for another video. But I just think if the right deal presents itself, I can see Nick pulling the trigger, because that would be a Patriot thing to do.
So you don't feel like if they are serious about, getting behind Davis Mills, making him that guy, that Cooks is essential in any way to his development, having that veteran there, or, because right now you got a lot of young guys that already been picked up, Hamilton. You don't feel like Cooks is necessary, or do you how does that work? Or they just Mills have to grow
as a weapon? But that's back to what I was saying earlier, that to me the fans feel Davis Mills is a franchise quarterback more than what the Texans are showing you, because there's two things you do. One thing you do if you feel like either a guy is the guy, or you want to see realistically about that guy, and that's get him weapons. Running backs, offensive line, receivers, that's what you do. That's what they did for Dak. That's what you see what Miami did for Tua. They want to know about Tua. So what they go out to do, they went out there and they draft a trade for Tyreek Hill. Now Tua has no damn excuse. Denver did the same thing with Jake Lock. Not Jake Lock. What's his name? Drew Lock. They did the same thing with Drew Lock. They got all those receivers out there in Denver, realized Drew Lock wasn't the guy, and what they go out there and do, they went out there and traded for Russell Wilson. The Rams did the exact same thing with Goff. Got Goff all those weapons. Goff is not the guy. What they gonna go do? They go out there and get Matt Stafford. So if you know somebody is the guy, you go out there and get him weapons, like Buffalo's done, like Dallas has done, or if you try to see what somebody is doing, like Miami, like Denver, like the Rams, you get them weapons, because you need to know. You have to have a real evaluation. So if they do trade Brandin Cooks, that's another thing telling me that the Texans don't really feel very confident in Davis Mills, and Davis Mills is just there. They just got Davis Mills, to me, is the equivalent of Alex Smith. Now, I'm not saying he's like Alex Smith, but that's how the Texans are treating. The Texans are treating Davis Mills like the Texans actually treated Tom Savage. He's just a guy on the roster. He's just a guy on the roster. They're not treating him like he's the franchise guy. They're not parading him as the champion. They're not. They're not getting him weapons. I mean, what, they got Marlon Mack? What did they damn do? They got Marlon Mack.
And that was very little
They're not
fanfare
going
on
out.
that Marlon Mack deal because it's people who just not finding out it happened today. I didn't find out till like a day or two later. I thought it was something. I was like, what? Oh, what? Like I heard the rumors and everything. I thought when I heard them talking
Yeah.
Mack trade, I thought they were talking about Khalil or something. Like you can't just be calling Marlon Mack. Like you have to earn your name. Like when you talk about Mac, Khalil is the first Mac that pops up. So you got if y'all talking about there was a Mac deal, make sure y'all put Marlon in front of Mac. Y'all can't just be calling him Mac and thinking that that's gonna stand or suffice. You gotta have people real confused. But yeah,
I mean, they could play their own Return of the Mac. Oh no, they ain't do nothing. They ain't do nothing.
We have to do that when we play Indy and see what he do. But yeah, man, like I said, it's just it's wild, and I kind of still talking on the subject of Mills. It is interesting because they've said some things, he's good or we can do it, but that's why I say I just still feel like Nick has shown some sleight of hand, especially with the media locally. You know what I mean? He's shown a lot of sleight of hand. Got people guessing what's going to happen with this, what's going to happen with that, and then things kind of go a different way. And a lot of times the media has been out of the loop until after the thing has happened, or it seems like the national media might have got the drop on it beforehand. So I just feel like, let me not say I feel like, I think that Nick or Lovey, there is that possibility still for that QB. That's why I say that the Malik thing is intriguing to me because I feel like there's a possibility. I feel like there's a debate in that building. Are we going to solidify and go defense? Or are we going to, take a flyer on Malik? And I think the fact that you have these multiple firsts, especially for the next upcoming few years, it almost allows you a little bit of leeway to kind of make a mistake or take a risky pick. And I'm not saying necessarily that Willis is the risky pick, but I think that he could be overvalued. But I just feel like quarterback is not off the table with the Texans. Even though I know a lot of people looking forward to the next year's draft. Like I don't feel like it's off the table this year.
Right.
Because like I said, with that pick, you can see, well, let's see if he's there, or even if you don't go over to see if he's there at 13, and then you go with, well, hey, this extra, let's see what he can do. What do we have to lose, especially if you get a solidified corner or, a Hamilton or, however they decide to go. I know I've seen people talk about tackles and all that. And I know people I'm just not in love with an offensive line pick that early right now, especially with it looking like Tunsil's going to stick around.
I don't think they draft. If we were still waffling with the Tunsil thing, I could see it. Yeah. The moment that they restructured Tunsil's contract and that Tunsil talking about I'm here, I'm staying, whatever. Like, yeah, I don't see. I don't really see offensive line. Yeah. I don't. I see. I see a defensive player or a trade back. And then if a trade back, then this best player available. Depending on how far the trade back, then it'll be best player available. Because that's the only way I see an offensive lineman get taken. Say if they trade down to 8 or trade down to 9, and then the Hamilton, everybody is gone, and then now the best player available would be a Linderbaum or a Icky or something like that. Then it's kind of like, okay, now it's kind of like a consolation prize if that's the case. But I don't see them taking one at 3. If they pick at 3, they're picking a defensive player or, like I say, a complete curveball, a QB at 3. Now, if they start trading back, then they open those possibilities because of other people being taken off the board. But if they're picking at 3, they're picking the defensive player or, like I say, the biggest curveball be a quarterback. But just a sidebar to what you said about Nick Caserio, the sleight of hand, because every time I watch and listen to a Nick Caserio press conference or talk with the media, like especially with the local media in Houston, he talks for a long time and says absolutely nothing. I feel more lost and confused and more empty after watching it. I'm like, I don't know what happened. It's like if you ate something after you ate it, you still like you even more hungry than the moment before you ate. Like that's how I feel listening to Caserio, and I just wonder if that's part of the reason, one of the reasons why John McClane retired from the Chronicle. I just wonder if that's one of the reasons, like because he can't get nothing from Houston no more. He can't get nothing from the Texas organization no more. It means absolutely nothing. So I might well just chill. I can't get nothing over there no more.
Yeah, like you say, it's too much. The juice ain't worth the squeeze, man. But I also
really
agree when you talked about trading back and going off his line. This is what it would tell me at number 3 that they go offensive line. To me, that would tell me that maybe they have a little bit more faith in Davis Mills than we think. Now, you could be saying, hey, we're just going to solidify the line for the future. But then it's kind of like you're getting a line. But why would you get a line if you didn't have some relative faith in the guy behind that line? Yeah. And so that's what I would have to see, or I would start to believe if they did go offensive line. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I would really like this to be an overly heavy defensive draft, personally. But, we'll see what else goes down. What you got?
Any QB in this draft, you would need to draft for offensive line for Davis Mills. Davis Mills needs a better offensive line than any QB in this draft, and also QBs in the next draft as well. Like with a quarterback like that, and I mean because the type of quarterback Davis Mills is, he is not a runner at all. He's a pocket guy. He's a guy. So he has to be protected. He has to get the maximum protection that you can actually get. So I agree with you on that standpoint. If they did go off the line, they might be a little. Okay, maybe that is their little way of saying we back in Davis Mills more so. Now the Texans could Texan and draft offensive line at 3, and then at 13 draft draft Matt Corral or something, then it's off or not.
and that's a Texan thing to do. So that's the one thing you can never count it out with these guys. That's why I say, man, that's why I'll be frustrated. I can't get into too much speculation with it because every time we do, we know what happened. The Texans start. They pull a gopher out of a hat. It ain't a rabbit because people like rabbits. Gophers, I don't know how people feel about gophers, but they're less like than rabbits. But they just pull some small mammal out of a hat. Maybe a platypus. That's a marsupial. But they pulling something out of a hat, and it don't always go right. Sometimes it'd be cool. And like, okay, we rock with it. Sometimes be like, what the hell is that? Like, what were you thinking?
What they do, they pull out sloths. That's what they pull out. They pull some out real slow. That's what they do. They pull out sloths.
It's just not going to work. This is not versatile enough. But, it is what it is. But jumping back to Mills, though. So Mills and Driscoll did something a couple of days ago. Pretty interesting. I believe they were at a local high school field, and they got with some of the receivers they posted on the social media. And they were out there working. Does that tell you anything about Mills? Does that tell you that his mindset is like that he's even if he's not say the QB1 that he's going to fight for that QB1? Do you think he believes it's his position to lose, or does it just say that's something that the guy should be doing anyway?
One of something the guys should be doing anyway, but David Mills is looking around like who else gonna be the QB1? Because Driscoll was a tight end at the end of the year. Tyrod Taylor's in New York. You trade Deshaun to Cleveland. Ain't nobody else. There is no. Do they have another quarterback on the roster besides them too?
Then they get Allen. They picked up Kyle Allen, didn't they?
They did pick up Kyle Allen. You sure right.
Yeah.
They picked up Kyle Allen.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. They picked up Kyle Allen. David Mills know he got the job. Unless they draft somebody, David Mills know he got the job. David Mills could have literally go into training camp and throw no touchdowns, throw all interceptions in training camp. He still start week 1.
Oh, terrible.
You're not starting Kyle Allen or Jeff Driscoll. Oh, you're not. You're not. The only way Davis Mills is not starting this year is if they draft a quarterback, or if something happens, he's not able to play. Other than that, he's going to be the starting quarterback. No matter what Davis Mills does, he's going to be the starting quarterback.
That's we're definitely stuck in that situation. No matter what the outcome is. It's going to be interesting. But like I say, hey, I ain't going to knock it. I like to see the fact that at least he's out there, trying to build that chemistry because it's going to be much needed, no matter what. Like, again, like I say, he needs to develop those things. What y'all talking about? You say it was from a Christian. Oh, is it a Christian high school? Oh, well, that's the way you do it. Hey, if you're gonna do it, then that's what you got to do. So I know y'all be getting mad because y'all be like, y'all don't be talking about the Rocks enough. And I did, want to get into is Jalen being snubbed in the Rookie of the Year conversation. But I think we may say that for another video this week because it is getting close to about that time. But I want to say one thing.
He's not the Rookie of the Year. He's not.
Why not?
You already know who's the Rookie of the Year. We all know who's the Rookie of the Year. Franz Wagner, Orlando Magic. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just hoping you were going to say something. I know you were going to say CC. I'm like, come on, no. Now, Jalen, here's my thing, and I'm not going to say because you can look across the board. You say, well, it's of the year, the consistency of the year. You can that can play into it. He's kind of been on fire after the All-Star break. And shout out to Wise called. He said, after the All-Star break, he gonna go off. And so I can see where people, it's not that kind. But you have to have the conversation about him and what he's been doing, especially these last few games. That you got to acknowledge that. But a lot of people kind of brushing that under the rug. But like I said, we'll get in a little bit more of that. But I'm gonna say one thing before we get ready to wrap it up, as to why Sauce Gardner is really the player for the Texans, and actually why his name is the perfect name for a corner. And I'm including the nickname. What does Sauce do? It covers stuff. It covers food. It covers, it adds flavor, but it covers your food. So you're talking about a corner, what do? They got to cover, right? And what does a gardener do? Gardner tends to the landscape, covers the grass, keeps the grass maintained. Where you playing it? You playing on the field, the grass. You got to play it maintained. He gonna garden the grass, baby. Ain't nothing gonna be on that field that don't need to be on that field, baby. You know what I'm saying? He gonna cover it with the sauce. He gonna maintain the field with the gardener. That's all I'm saying, baby. Sauce Gardner, number 3 at the Houston Texans pick. That's what we need to do, man. Spitz. Thoughts? Anything you want to say to the people before we get ready to wind it up?
I really like Sauce Gardner. Please don't make me not like him by coming up with these corny slogans for Sauce Gardner.
The Sauce Gardner, man.
Because I think I think he does have the personality because I think he's going to add a lot of flavor to the defense.
Okay. We need that, man.
I think he adds a lot of that confidence that I'm the best player in the draft. I'm gonna be the best corner in the NFL as a rookie. That's a lot of flavor. That's a lot of sauce right there. Like that's a lot of sauce. That's the type of sauce that we do need. That type of attitude is what we need. You gotta have a dog mentality, especially on defense. Yeah. You have to have a dog mentality to change the culture. Example, even though it didn't last long, but it changed just enough. Jacksonville drafted Jalen Ramsey. Yeah. Jalen Ramsey had that same type of confidence. His second year, Jags had the best defense in the NFL, made it to an AFC Championship game. Now, they had Blake Bortles as their quarterback. We all know what happened afterwards and whatever. But I'm saying that type of mentality changed the landscape of the defense. You add in somebody like Sauce, that type of mentality, that type of attitude changes the landscape of the defense. The play style of Kyle Hamilton, the type of athlete that Kyle Hamilton changes the play style of the defense. Those guys can change your defense week 1, game 1, opening day, just because of Sauce's attitude and because of the play style of Kyle Hamilton, because he's a unicorn. Those guys can change your defense tremendously. Then you jump on when you have a defensive minded coach like Lovie Smith. The sky's the limit, dog. It's just that simple. You gotta go with one of those two guys. If you go one of those two guys, even if they took Stingley at 3, I wouldn't be upset. I might look at it kind of sideways. I'm like, I would have took Sauce or Kyle Hamilton, but I wouldn't be upset. But those guys gotta be the pick, man. You gotta go, man. You gotta take one of those two guys, and that's really what you just gotta do. And we all know the Sauce. Hey, If Sauce gets drafted, we have to have Sauce on the sauce. It's like it got to be. It's just too perfect. He got to be on here dripping with the sauce.
Yeah, I mean, it's destiny.
It's destiny. It happens.
So, well, I mean, like I say, man, it's just ultimately what happens. Like I say, I would like to see, like I say, some good secondary talent, ultimately corner, because that's what I feel like the Texans have lacked over the years. Yeah, we got Jonathan Joseph, but that was because of a trade. Like, I want to see the Texans draft a corner and he stays. You know, we talk Dante, we talk all of this. Like, I want to see the Texans draft a corner. He becomes a star. He stays a Texan. You know, like that's what I feel like we've been lacking. And again, like I said, don't get me wrong. I love Jonathan Joseph, like and what he did as a Texan. You know, but again, he wasn't drafted. So that to me, just something a little bit different about that.
The Texas first Pro Bowler, Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn. I forgot the other corner that we had that was moved to safety. Marcus. What's his name? Obviously, Aaron Glenn. Marcus Coleman.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Marcus Coleman. He drafted Dante Robinson. Like I said, this franchise is own it, own your stuff. It just be a defensive-minded franchise. Every time the Texans were good, outside the 2 years with Defoe, it was based off of the defense. It was all in the 2011, the best team in the franchise history, off of the leg of the defense. 2012, JJ's defensive player year, 20 sacks, off of the legs of the defense. The year that we went to the playoffs with Brock Osweiler, the Texans had the number one defense. We had AJ Bouye going crazy at the cornerback position. Own it. We are a defensive-minded franchise. Let's move forward. We have a defensive-minded head coach. Let's move forward and let's power up this defense. Let's make this defense a very dominant defense, a strangling defense. We punish opponents. That's what we do. That we strangle them. We everything has to be hard for our offense.
Yes.
Everything has to be hard for the opponent's offense. That's what we need to do. Be that type of team. Have that type of mentality. Sauce and Kyle give you that type of mentality.
I agree 100%. You can't afford to make a mistake on this defense. That's the kind of defense that where you have to play perfect football. You know, and I'm a person. I prefer defensive games. I know a lot of people don't like low scoring. You know, all that. Like, I'm cool with that old school hard nosed football. Like, I'm cool with that. You know, the defensive games. That's great to me. To me, that's something to see. Jaja says Marcus Jones or Logan Hall from UH. Of course, you know. Hey, look. A lot of hometown heroes love to keep him in the house. And I know a lot of folks been talking about Marcus Jones. So that's an interesting one, but don't let me lie to you on that. And then Coleman, I got to tell you, I got a bad memory because I be talking to myself. I be remembering stuff and like, that wasn't it. Because I'm sitting there thinking in my head, Coleman, while he's talking about it, I'm like, nah, that's not it though. And so I gotta stop doing that. But Kareem, and I know y'all want to say Kareem. One, like I said, he ain't stay here because we saw what happened. But he didn't really start balling almost until he got moved to safety, like we had been saying for a long time. Like, he had some decent corner year, wasn't nothing to write home about, you know what I'm saying? But when he got to safety, that's when you was like, damn, we've been saying this for a long time. This is what they should have been doing, but it is what it is. But like I said, I'd like to see the Texans get a corner, and like I say, he be that dude and really stay here. And contribute, because to me, I want to see the Texans have a solid defense. I care more about that than putting up 50 points and all that other stuff. It looks good, but
and pay me Rick.
Yeah,
like D-Rob said.
I'll never forget that.
Okay, but y'all know what it is, man. It is about that time, and again, we always want to shout out to y'all. I want to shout out to Fox 26 for all of y'all who coming out and joining us on Tuesdays for the Drip. And again, yes, definitely hoping for Sauce Gardner, because if it happens, we're gonna find a way. We're gonna get him on the sauce. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man, all the fresh ingredients who've been there dropping comments, man. If you ain't hit that like button, it's okay. If you want to be a hater, if that's how you gonna go into the spring season of 2022, the weather's changed, it's getting nice, it's lovely outside. You just want to be a hater. You just want to that's how you rocking with life. I get it. The world ain't great, bad things going on around the world, but hey, you ain't got to be a hater in the sauce, man. Just hit that like button. But I want to say shout out to Mr. Spitz, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Oh, So you may in the status on the 5K for those who may not know.
Yes. The contest is not over. I'm giving y'all to next Tuesday. So I have one more week. I will be naming the winners next Wednesday. Or I'm video next Wednesday naming the winners. Or I might do it on Instagram. I haven't made my mind how I'm gonna do the winners. But y'all still have a week. Cause somebody actually asked me the other day, is it over with? No, you have to next Tuesday. You have to next Tuesday, which is what is next Tuesday's date? You have the 12th. You have to April 12th. So watch the video, see how you enter, see how to compete. You have the April 12th. Shout out to everybody out there.
And yes, Judge, I would not. I mean,
Yes, Judge, I
would be
would not.
opposed. They can go all defense. I would not be mad as long as they're decent picks. I would not be mad if they go defense. I don't even care. But like I said, with that being said, make sure y'all are following up top all the proper social media, South Sports HTX on Twitter and Instagram, South Sports. If you're watching on the tube, then you already know it's on the tube. Facebook, TikTok. I know y'all be like, Hunch, what are you doing on TikTok? I ain't putting that on TikTok yet. I'm trying to learn. I found this TikTok dance, right? And I'm trying to learn it. I ain't gonna tell y'all what it is. I may have sustained a small injury attempting to do it, but I'm gonna get it right. And when I do, it's just gonna go down. But with that being said, again, shout out to Spit, shout out to the whole round table, shout out to Fox 26, shout out to the city of Houston, and man, more than anything, shout out to you, man, because again, it is an honor, it is a privilege, and more than anything, it is our pleasure to get to chop it up with y'all, to drop some flavor with y'all, man. Hey, and time is the one valuable asset that you can never recoup. The fact that y'all spent the time with us tonight to chop it up about these Texans is greatly appreciated. Davis Mills, you want the shirt? Hit the description. With that being said, we chuck up the deuce. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. But most of all, y'all stay saucy. And if you in the Discord, beat us there, don't meet us there. You want to be a part of Discord, shout out to all the new members in the Discord, patreon.com/SauceSports. Join up on Patreon, and we will send you the link to the Discord. It's like 24-hour sauce. So if you can handle that sauce overload, get you some of that. We chuck up the deuce. We out. We gone. Y'all